Oh, there's Kelsey. Okay, hold on.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal
All
of
right,
approval.
Kelsey was having a hard time.
Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is
Nice
so
to see you, Mark.
intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And Tony, I think you can introduce our very special guest. You were going to try to pass it off on Daniel, but I think you can do it. We only have the three here right now. So yeah, why don't you introduce our very special guests?
Sure. All three of them have something to do with the movie Grind that is coming out. So I guess we'll start with director Mark Cantu.
Oh no, you got me right in the crosshairs already. First thing. So, hello everybody. It's writer director Mark Cantu for Grind. How you doing?
Not
How's
bad.
it going?
Welcome back.
And Kelly Marks.
And Kelly, are you an actress? Or are you visual effects? I know Daniel said that someone that was doing some effects stuff might be coming on.
Yeah, I did an internship for Mark doing some effects, and I had two small parts in the film too.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah,
We'll
it was
get
a
into
very
that.
and my first movie experience too. So it was
Really?
very cool. Yeah,
Even cooler. Even cooler.
yeah.
All right.
And then returning to the show multiple times, our friend and yours, Daniel Kearney.
Hey everybody, how are you?
Welcome
Good
back.
to see you.
Daniel.
Thanks for having me back on, guys. And
Yeah.
happy to talk about Grind.
Yeah, we
Beautiful,
talked
looking
about
beautiful. Mark's doing an incredible job.
it. It is. Yeah. We I was able to grab the trailer. We had a while where I couldn't grab trailers, and now I was able to grab it. It was a process for sure. I had to grab the video, then grab the audio, then put them together, and then shrink it back down. And it was but so this way, the viewers will be able to see the trailer, and the listeners will be able to hear the trailer. But either way, if you're listening, you should go check out the trailer. It's really cool. The idea for the movie is really cool as well. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about the idea for the movie? I know we had you on for it previously, but it's been a while. So
Right.
So the people that don't remember when we talked about Grind before, why don't you give them a little reminder about what the movie's about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is about the love of movies. I mean, that is kind of where it was all birthed from. So basically, Grind is about a group of college students that actually are putting on a grindhouse festival in their local town for the school, and like any good horror movie, they wind up stumbling upon a possessed or a cursed movie that's kind of been buried for a while. And once they play it, it's like Evil Dead. They wind up unleashing, all hell breaks loose, and we go from there. So, and it's a little bit of H.P. Lovecraft, a little bit of the cosmic horror in there, The Void, a little bit of World's End, Evil Dead. Like I said, we kind of pulled from everything. Demons is in there somewhere as well. So, so we tried to pull from our love of movies, our love of grindhouse movies, our love of bad Z-grade movies. Like I said, so we actually, our movies within the movies as well, we had to go out and shoot some of the cheesier elements of the movies that we were playing in the Grindhouse Film Festival. So that's kind of like I said, it's a good excuse to share our love of movies with everybody. So
Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. The trailer looks great. We're going to play that about the halfway mark. But before I change subjects, I just want to add Kelsey to the group. Kelsey's here. What's going on, Kelsey?
thank you.
Hey there.
Welcome to the
Sorry
show.
that was having a little trouble with the link,
That's okay.
but I just, and then so are some of the other folks, but I just emailed it to them, so we might have some additional guests joining us as well.
Okay, even better. So Kelley, you said that this is your first time on like on a movie set altogether.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how did that happen?
Well, one of our other producers, Kent Collins, is one of my best friends, and he told me about this movie that Mark was doing, and he's like, "You should get on board. You should get on board." And to be honest, I was terrified, but liquid courage. I'm like, you know what the hell? And yeah, so I got to be there helping with makeup for, gosh, I think it was like 8 days. And Mark was rad. He's like, "Oh, you want to do this? I don't want to spoil anything." But then I got to do some other stuff, and I had a small scene with Kelsey, and Dan and I became good friends. I met so many cool people, and yeah, it was such a cool experience. And now I'm doing some other movies too. So
Nice.
I got the bug, I guess.
Nice. No, that's sick. And it seems like every time I go from a one shot back to the group, we add someone else. But Stanton is with us now. What's going on, Stanton? Welcome back.
There's Stanton.
Y'all remember me, huh?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
I was getting the show ready at work today as I was helping a client, and they were on hold with the IRS, and I had plenty of time to work on stuff for the show, and I had something pulled up, and one of my coworkers walked by, and I had your IMDb pulled up, Stan, and like, hey, that's the guy from Fast and Furious. I'm like, yeah. We had him on like show a while back, and he's like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, he's coming on tonight. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's pretty cool. I'm like, yep. And then that was the extent of our conversation. But you were recognized just by someone walking by the desk.
Well, how cool is that? I'm more like slow and grumpy now. Fast and Furious is long gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's great to see all these faces. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
Hello.
Kelsey, Kelley, you left the set without giving me a hug. Damn it.
I owe you a hug.
Oh God, yes.
And
I gave you a big hug when I left, Stan.
I know, Daniel. You and your purple goo.
Brian Bell here now as well.
There's Brian Bell.
There he is.
Hey, everybody.
There's
Brian,
my California native.
Brian, what did
That's right.
So we know Stan. Like, I don't think Brian's been on the show before.
No, I have not.
So what was your part in the movie?
I play Walt. I don't want to say too much, but he's kind of the town Ned Flanders, who's one with the Lord. Put it that way.
You have a very boomy voice, so I can see very preachy things coming out.
He put it to good use.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Kelsey, what about yourself? Who do you play in the movie?
I play Emily. I play the lead.
Nice. And so I know like the movie takes place like there's like a Grindhouse Film Festival and all this stuff. So are you like the person running the festival or?
Yeah, so I am a film professor who is helping her students put on this Grindhouse Film Festival. And I think Mark probably sounded like he was covering it when I came in. That
Yeah, we're touching on it a little bit.
Film gets played and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's finally done. Well, it looks like it's in. What is the plan with it? Like it. So when's it getting an actual? Is it getting a physical release? That's a big question. I know Tony's going to ask, so I'll ask it for him.
Yeah. So I'll take it for right now. So right now we are like neck deep in post production. So like I've been sending cuts of the movie out to Bell, Stanton, Dan. Like I said, they get copies of the movie, and I think Kelley has gotten one in the last week or so. But they're getting all the updated versions of like the VFX and things like that. So we've got about another month before we lock everything. So like June 9th is like our cutoff. And then once we have that date, then our premiere is August 9th, which is up here in Pittsburgh. And then after that, we should be making our festival run. We've got a couple of distributors that we've talked to before that we're going to start reaching out at that point. But of course, like they want their pitch decks, they want everything ready to go. So we're going to spend probably the next like couple of months once we're locked, getting all that stuff ready for distribution, and then kind of hopefully announcing a deal pretty quickly after that. So
Nice. Well, fingers crossed, because the trailer looks sick. Sergio is in the chat room saying, "What's up, guys?" And he also wants to know if there's a trailer. Yes, there is a trailer. I do have a trailer this week. Now that I've figured it out. So Daniel, in the trailer, you can be seen in the trailer. So I think I saw something in the trailer. I don't want to. I don't want to speculate too much. But do you get turned into something?
So
Are you
I can't say too much.
okay?
I can, but there are things happening.
Okay.
In regards to my character name was Dell. And when in the initial stages of the project, when Mark was asking me about it, I said, Mark, if you could just please make me be like the meanest, jerkiest, horrible person.
So the exact opposite of you.
And he made me be. It was good. It was a lot of fun, and so that's the kind of the character I played. But there is definitely a transformative aspect of my character, both personally and physically, and in the story. And by the end of it, you'll like the outcome.
Nice.
Of what happens.
Turns out
Are we
Dan's a
like the
wonderful
worst?
D-bag.
Like, are we like the worst podcast guests ever? Because we're just like all evasive. Like every one of us, like we can't talk about.
No. There's,
It was fun. We just can't say anything about it. So
I'm sure Tony can attest. You know, we've had podcast guests on in the past. It's not that it's like literally like pulling teeth, where it's just like, so tell us about the movie.
Right.
I really can't talk anything. I can't say anything about it.
right, can't say anything about it, but it was awesome.
It's like, literally, like anything. Like, do you want to talk about
Any
it?
behind the scenes, anything crazy happened, we can't say that.
Nope.
We can't.
Catering was amazing. That was about it. Yeah.
No, catering wasn't great.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, we get it. But sometimes, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we have.
But the thing you guys have is the trailer, so you know at that point in time.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't say I have to work with Liz when we worked with when we did Wolf. I didn't get to work with Liz directly.
Is it sounding distorted to you, too?
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel, your audio is like very distorted, Daniel.
Yeah, Dan, your audio. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
He was telling you what happened in the movie, and that's what he's struggling.
I think he said
Sound like
something
a
about-
robot.
Yeah, it sounds like a robot. Oh, that's what he turns into in the movie, a robot. But yeah, I think he said something about was it Wolf Hollow?
Yeah.
I thought I heard something about Wolf Hollow. So yeah, that's the thing is, you know, you guys have all been, well, not all of you. Kelley's new to it. And by the way, so what kind of background do you have, Kelley, in the visual effects side of things?
I just helped with the special effects makeup. I have none. That's why I wanted to be part of this, because I wanted to learn about basically anything about filmmaking that I could, because I love horror movies. Like horror is kind of everything to me. So I was so pumped to be part of this. And
Nice. I noticed the basket case shirt and the shirt.
Yeah, thanks.
I approve.
Belial.
What'd you say?
I said Belial.
Oh, okay.
Belial, yeah. Pretty rad.
I'm just it seems really cool. It seems almost approachable, like that the fact that you were able to like do that, like step in and just be part of it.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing with when people do the Indiegogo campaigns, because it is a way that you can experience something, and also you're helping a filmmaker bring their dream to life by being part of that.
Yeah.
And I feel very lucky. And again, I met so many great people who've also helped open doors for me too. So I'm going to be part of some other movies too. So it's been a very cool ride so far.
Yeah, that's actually. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, and you could be opening the door for someone else. You know,
oh yeah, totally.
We talk to, you know, I mean us too. It's like, you know, we'll have guests on, and it's like, what? Give us some, you know, thoughts or ideas, or like how to get into it. And it's just like, jump into it. You got to start, just go. And it's like, you know, easier said than done, but for you, it's just like, okay, let's do it, and
Well,
you learn that it's
that's kind of like how Daniel got started too. I mean, like that's how I first, uh, met Daniel, was just being a fan at cons, and then he met Felissa, and it's just like, I want to get into it, and she's like, just then get into it, and now look at him,
Yeah.
he's involved.
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I'm sure there's some days he's like, what am I doing? Like, I'm involved in too many things, like, because I know, like, there's times where you're like, you're so busy, because you
Yeah.
have family and everything, and you got work
Yeah.
and all this other stuff, and it's like, there's a lot. I don't know how
Yeah.
you do it. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't.
I appreciate it gets overwhelming, and kind of that was at that point recently.
Yeah.
But everything's good, and but yeah, it is really wonderful to be involved, and I apologize, my audio went out, so I missed what we were segueing into. But to
That's okay.
piggyback off what everybody was saying, the horror community is incredible, and if you want to get involved, it's there for you, and it's very supportive, and it's wonderful, loving people, and just go for it. Just audition, go for it, talk to people, network, and it's a great place to be.
Yeah.
You mentioned about Kelley being able to open doors for folks, and she already is, because she pulled me into a movie that we filmed in November where she was a producer, one of the producers.
Oh, look at that.
Thanks for calling me, Kelley.
no hug,
we
no
were looking
You're
for
in
a
call.
female
trouble.
lead. I thought of Kelsey over you, Stanton. I'm sorry.
So with Brian and Kelsey, was that something that they auditioned, Mark, or was that something where they're people you've already worked with and you knew, like, okay, this part would be perfect for them, or how did they come to the mix?
Yeah, these are like two completely different stories for each one of them. So Belle, well, I'll start with Belle because we go back a little bit further. So we had actually done a movie called Massacre Academy, and that was my first one after I'd kind of recommitted to making horror movies. And Belle kind of came in. I would say it was kind of towards the end of that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
He jumped on as a producer, and he just kind of he got one of the perks that we had on a very small, like very quick blip of a campaign for that one. But he picked up one of the perks, and he starts messaging me back and forth. And it was one of those weird things that he was giving me some of the video that I was going to use for him, or some pictures. And as we were kind of going back and forth, I was just like, I think this guy's my tribe. I think I love him. I think he's amazing. And that's been what I'd say like 5 years at this point. And
Yep.
like Belle and I just absolutely fucking adore each other. He's my brother that lives in California. That's the way I think of him right now.
Absolutely.
And so like we've been on this. We were on Wolf Hollow together, and then so when we were on Grind, it was one of those things where I was like, you know what, I'm going to put you in there. I know for a fact I'm going to sneak in here somewhere. And sure enough, like I said, we were lucky enough to have him be able to be with me for, what was it, a week and a half, 2 weeks almost at this point.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing this time to have him there with me, like every step of the way. He was on set almost every day, so it was amazing to have him there. Kelsey, on the other hand, we were going through the audition process for Grind. We were seeing a ton of people right at the very beginning, and initially Kelsey auditioned for one other part in the movie, and I think I can't remember which one it was, but she auditioned, and it just, we wound up going a different way with the role. We were like, okay, cool, great, not a big deal. And then we had some scheduling conflicts, and we were like, hey, would you be interested? And this was like maybe 3 weeks before we started shooting. We were like, yeah, we had some scheduling conflicts. So are you interested in this still? So she actually wound up kind of, with her availability, because she was only going to come back and play like a zombie on one day, and like that was about it. And I had remembered her from the screen tests, and I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what you got here. And to Kelsey's credit, like I said, she was a pro from day one. She was ready to go, and she was a quick study, and she absolutely came in and just crushed it. So, like I said, this is our first movie together, and then Belle and I, this is our, I don't know how many different adventures we've been on at this point already. So yeah, 2 different adventures here going on.
then Stanton was a no-brainer. I mean,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Stan, I don't know what the time frame is on Stan when he's been working with Red Slate with Brian Saponis and Jesse. But I had met Stan at one of their screenings, and we were like, dude, like we're gonna have to work together at some point. Like I said, and again, it's one of those just natural chemistry things where like you just meet somebody and you just know not just are they talented, but they're just a good person.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to be surrounded by on set all day long, because you're going to be working long hours. You're going to be doing difficult stuff. The at the very least, you want to be surrounded by good-hearted people. And Stanton was, like I said, the moment I met him, I was like, yeah, you're. I don't know what we're going to put you in, but we're going to put you somewhere. So
nice. And so do you guys have any plans as far as like, because I always in my mind think it's a cool idea to have like a big like premiere, even if it's just for cast and crew. But do you have like a big, like any kind of like when the final push is done and the final like this is the release, this is what we're actually going to be like giving out to the distributors and everything? Are you going to actually do like a premiere for people, like for the cast and crew and stuff?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that'll be the August 9th premiere. That we'll have that at the Lamp Theater in Irwin, PA. Before
Where we
that,
shot.
privately, we'll have probably quite a few like screenings for the cast and crew, just so they can see it before they actually have to watch it on premiere night, and then that way for the premiere, they're watching their family. They're not watching the movie anymore. Like they've seen it 1,000 times by that point.
Yeah.
But I know we've talked about once we have our premiere, once we have our screening on August 9th, we're going to start making the rounds. I know we've got some stuff up in Connecticut. I think with Bell, I think we've talked about going out to LA as well with him and Stanton at some point, having one for them, another one in Virginia for Shonda. So definitely making our rounds. Like I said, we're going to be sluts with this movie, absolute whores with this movie. Like I said, because we're going to try to get this thing down everybody's throat all the time. So
nice. Well, we're just about at the halfway point. I'm gonna play because I see it looks like Kelley might be having a little bit of a difficulties with her camera or something. But
I think Kelsey's laughing at my horror comment right now. I'm really uncomfortable with that.
I was gonna say if you want to be a slut, we can play the trailer right now.
No,
Yeah,
you just know how to paint a picture, Mark.
All right, so I'm gonna play the trailer for Grind. And if you're just listening to this. This is going to go up on Thursday, but if you're just listening to this, go just do a search for Grind Horror or Grind 2025, and the trailer will come right up. And it looks like a really good time. So here we go. Here's the trailer for Grind. We'll be right back.
It's Ilsun Forte, and tonight I'm coming to you live from the Grindfest 2025 Film Festival, brought to us by Ortstown University.
Grindfest?
Yeah, I didn't pick the name.
So, a grindhouse festival, huh? I don't know what makes an absolute classic yet.
Now that is sex and ice cream.
By God's grace, it'll stay that way. Showing more of your sinful, trashy movies.
It's like a black and white art house movie, something about like cults and rituals, and think about it. One night only, we play the absolute cheesiest movies, and then we cap it off with this.
40 years ago, I got lucky. I was able to push it back in. I've shredded that film, I've burned it. But it always comes back somehow. It's just creating some kind of war. Space, time, everything smeared together.
Yay! Yay.
That looked awesome.
Doesn't it? It looks like such a good time.
And it's just like everything and anything in there. You got like creatures and this, and like every second it looked like something new got added into the fray. So I could just imagine once it starts, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite literally like a kitchen stove movie. It's like anything you can think of is pretty much just thrown in a kitchen sink. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's got from horror icons to new faces in here and stuff, and I'm sure it's a perfect mix.
I gotta add in here too, because really quick, Mark, I apologize. I said the story before, but we were on a production call, and Mark had loosely said to me, "Oh yeah, we're gonna throw some flamethrowers in there or do something like that." And I was just like, "Okay, all right, well maybe he means like CGI and put a flamethrower gun in there or something." Yeah, no, I was wrong. I'm like at work or something, and I'm on, or actually no, I was home, and I'm looking. He sends me some photos. I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. How do you do that so quick? It's all real flamethrowers. It's real flamethrowers that were used in this film.
It's an
So
appropriate comment from Marvel Match, Girls and Flamethrowers, I'm sold. And then said, good thing I like kitchen sinks.
There you go.
Including the kitchen sink.
What kind of comment?
yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, no, it looks like a really good time. And if there's like public screenings in Connecticut, please let me know, Daniel. And
I promise.
Hopefully
There's one that's definitely going to be happening.
Okay.
At a movie theater, in New Haven County. It's already all in the works. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because hopefully I'm hoping, because I know you've sent me ones in the past and it just hasn't worked out like time wise for me, but I don't got much going on right now. That's one thing that I had planned, and it's coming up in 2 weeks. So as long as it's not in the next 2 weeks, I'm good.
I'd love to see you.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be awesome to come down, or come. Is it down? I don't even know. Maps
Cross
around. We'll just say
around.
Come around.
That away
In the vicinity.
Yeah, maybe I can talk Leo into going too. That'd be fun. But yeah, so I don't know. Where do you want to go with this, Tony?
Well, like I said, it looks like there's a mix between new, horror icons and stuff for Kelsey. Now, have you worked with like Felissa Rose or Ginger's been in a whole bunch of stuff now, and how is it like working with them? Like, did you work with in horror movies beforehand, or is this like a new venture for you?
Well, it's always, a privilege to be able to work with, greats like that, and, people who have, so much experience to be able to bring to everything. And, I've been a big fan of horror, and, I've done a few films, but this has really, been a new experience for me. And, even though I've been a horror fan for a while, I had no idea about how fantastic the horror community is. I mean, they don't have this for other genres, right? Like, just everybody, it's like the nicest, most supportive, excited, it's just been great to be able to become a part of that. And I hope to be a part of it for a long time.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to break down that wall because it looks scary from the outside, but then how many times have we had people on here that they're like, I wouldn't even thought to work in a horror movie, and I did my first one and got covered in blood, and now I want to do a couple. I think for Massacre Academy, some of the younger girls that we had on, they were like, I got covered in blood and I love it now, and that's all I want to do. So it's like sometimes, it's always been, like I don't want to say macabre. Now it's definitely opening up, but before it's like, I don't know about that horror stuff. And then you realize that, some of the nicest people come from horror, like Felissa is, one of the nicest people ever.
And to piggyback off your point there, Tony, I think that's one of the beautiful things about it, especially coming from my perspective, because I'm, with this thing from start to finish, so I get to see all the benefits of it all. Is the horror community? It really is like what you're saying. It's not necessarily macabre, but it's like everybody gets to play dress up. everybody gets to treat this like Halloween. Like we all become kids again on set, and we're like, walking around in monster masks and covered in slime. And on Grind, like I said, we were lucky enough to be shutting down major streets in a city, and you're just like, this is amazing. Like you're not going to be able to get to do this on every project, so you're grateful to be able to do that, but then also have just an absolute blast being covered in everything. And and again, it's like you're like a kid on Halloween. That's what I always equate it to.
The rom-com community has nothing on the horror community.
Exactly.
That's right. No,
I
I
mean,
agree.
it's trying. I mean, they do have, what is it, like Christmas cons now, but until they have a
Oh,
like a rom com, con
Don't they
that
have
doesn't.
isn't there like a Hallmark con or something? I thought there was like a Hallmark or Lifetime movie con.
Possibly. I know they have a Christmas con, but I don't know if they have that just yet, because then probably the only guest will be what, Lacey
It's like
Chambers.
one a year.
He's
I
like,
think it's like once a year.
Oh, I love
No, because
So you're saying I should do a bloody rom-com next? All right, got it.
There's a lot of nothing.
All right,
You see a lot. There's actually a lot of crossover between
I
like.
was going to say it's the crossover we didn't know we needed.
No, there is. You see
exactly.
Dee Wallace in a lot of those movies. You see Alicia Witt in a lot of those movies.
Yeah.
Isn't from Long Legs, like and she's from my town. Hello, Alicia Witt's from Worcester, Mass. Good Girl Gone Good. I mean, Local Girl Gone Good. Whatever. Anyway,
but they did do, what's it called? They took that Bring It On cheerleading series to horror. The last installment was a horror movie. So
no, that's true.
I mean,
I'm telling you,
really?
yeah,
we're snapping around something here, guys. I'm telling you.
Slash those girls up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
on a side note, Tony, I know we've talked about it before, but and over the years, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like 5 years now since we've been talking about indie horror, it's now becoming exactly what you and I and Kev and all of us been talking about, how big it's getting. Like it's now the horror that everybody wants to see is like now the independent horror. I mean, look at Eli Roth now. Even he's like wants to bring in the opinions and everybody's thoughts about independent horror now in all different ways. So I think it's just going to keep building more and more and more, and it'll be the
I mean,
really the horror that everybody's going for.
All the horror movies that are like with the headline and Meow apparently. All the headlines.
That's my cat. Yeah.
All the headlines about like horror movies they're all about the independent stuff.
Well, look at, I mean, A24 is pumping out a new horror movie like every other week, it seems like.
Yeah.
But not only with A24, I mean, you had Terrifier breaking down the doors to bring to, movies into theaters, even if it's for like a weekend or two. Before that, you never would have heard like an independent film making it into not only, even select theaters. Sometimes it was like, you have one for a screening or whatever, like just for the cast and crew and family. But now you're getting, select weekends or something like that. So
yeah, they kind of paved the way because there's a lot that we had that the Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, like they were able to do like a bunch of weekends and stuff too. So they're because of that, you see more of the independent horror movies doing extended weekends in theaters, and people are going.
And that's only going to help the cause. So
yeah, I'm happy about it, and it's I'm preaching to the choir because you guys know, but I don't know. Most of the passion and the heart is in with the independent stuff, anyways. So that's what we want to see.
Absolutely correct.
That's where we want. That's what we want to see because we're sick of the same old stuff over and over again. We want to see some fun stuff and some, they can try to make some good, some stuff out of Hollywood, but it's at the end of the day, it's all they just care about ticket sales. And
I mean, they're trying because with mainstream horror, it seems like you get a hit and miss. Like even talking about Eli Roth, it seems like his movies is like good, bad, all right, here, this, that, this. But at least it looks like they're at least trying. Because now you got what, The Monkey. The Monkey was pretty good. So I think they're looking and being like, okay, now everything's getting a little closer than it was before. The gap between, mainstream horror and independent, nobody was listening, like knocking on the door this way. But now with the, resurgence of independent horror, I think, it's given them a run for their money.
It is, and they're knocking on our doors now for opinions and things like that. And it's almost like the VHS boom of the mid late 80s to early 90s without a VHS tape. If that makes any sense, it's that boom of independent structure and distribution and regional format with all these different regions coming out with different independent films. It's building. Because what happens is you form the pipeline. All the films get made, and the post-production processes can be quite a long time, unless you're Mark Cantu, and it can be done in 3 minutes, which I don't understand is possible.
This is still taking 2 years.
And
Yeah,
it's
not that
amazing
quick.
work. But that pipeline from so many different artists is all coming out now over the past 3 years. So I think it's only gonna boom, 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 boom.
Just real quick, Life is Pain. We haven't seen in the chat in a while.
Yeah.
He finally got a Wednesday off, so it's Wednesday for him. He's over in the UK, so but he wanted to say I loved Massacre Academy, Mark. So he wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Absolutely, yeah, I did see that here. Thank you so much, Life is Pain. We appreciate that. That's probably one of my favorite experiences, like making a movie. Full stop. So yeah, thank you so much. That means a lot.
And he said that he got scammed. He watched that Piglet movie thinking it was part of the Winnie the Pooh horror movies, but it's not.
Did they make a Piglet movie?
There's a Piglet movie out there. But I don't think they made it. I don't think they did anyways.
No, I don't. It wasn't in that Pooniverse.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing. The Pooniverse is a thing. But no, it's the I don't know. They're doing their thing, and it's they're that's one thing, and I think I've talked to Dan about this in the past too, is that I like to see like progress. Like I like to see the progression of people's talents, and that's one thing. Even with those Winnie the Pooh movies, you can say what you want about them, there is some progress there. Like if you watch those, like from the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, to the second one, to the Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, there's night and day difference. Like, so that's why I'm enjoying that series right there, is because it's huge difference. So yeah, that's another thing you see in a lot of independent horror, is you see people's beginnings,
Right.
And I love that. I love seeing people's early work and then seeing people 10 years down the road and seeing what they've been able to learn over the time. And, I don't know why I find it so interesting, but I do.
Oh.
Like I'll watch people's movies that I'm like, wow, this is almost unwatchable, but I'm going to watch it. And then I'm going to watch the next movie and see if it's any better. And I don't know.
Piggybacking off of that, Kelley, since it is your first, work with movies, did you learn anything you didn't realize about the movie making process?
Oh, 1 second. You're muted. 1 second.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was being all weird. That's why I disconnected before.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Did I learn? I mean, I feel like I learned a lot. It's just I will admit I was very nervous on Grind because I was worried about, which I think I told Mark like 400 times, because I was just so excited. I just didn't want to make an ass of myself, and I was just trying to suck everything in. But I guess just like the whole process, it's a lot of work. Like scenes that just watching certain scenes, I was like just amazed at just how much work goes into just, one particular scene, especially with horror. Like there's so much shit that goes into it, and someone might watch, an independent film and be like, well, this sucks or whatever, but I don't think they realize just how much work it is. And I found that very impressive and just fascinating, just like the whole process of movie making, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we've learned over the years just from doing the podcast. And I've only been on 2 sets, and I've learned a lot just from standing there and watching other people. And I'm like, holy crap. And this
Right?
seems very interesting, and I feel like if I tried this, I would mess it all up. Like,
Right.
you know, no. I'm saying like these people know what they're doing. Like the sets I've been on, I'm like these guys know what's up. If I tried to step in right now, I would derail this whole thing. You know, that's what I'm talking about. But if I
So
went in,
maybe like a little perspective here. So like Stan, can you maybe like talk about the difference between like your time on grind versus like something like Fast and Furious? Like how night and day different is that in the process?
Well, this is my first venture into horror, so just let you guys know I'm a virgin. It's my.
You were the engineer on set. Yes, you were. Yeah.
I don't think anyone but Mark Cantu could have done what was done in this movie in such a short period of time. I was totally floored by how much detail and how much control and all in his head, and how it was just all. I didn't understand it, and I didn't think it was going. I didn't know what. Seeing footage from it, I'm saying shit. But this is great stuff. Grind's a huge hit. But comparison to my Fast and Furious and Pleasantville days and a couple other studio I did, the people in independent films and really the Grind crew and cast, they're so passionate. I didn't get that, and when I was doing Fast and Furious, I was a newcomer to the business, so the lead roles never talked to the supporting cast except Paul Walker, so we kibitz, but it was just like their little cliques, some members of the crew here, cast. Plus, they took 6 months to do a film, and Grind is at a much bigger level than, in my opinion, and some of the Fast and Furious that cost millions to do and take the kind of time they do to make it. I'm a fan of independent films. I've been working with Jesse and Brian at Red Slate, and I've done a couple crime dramas with them, and going to do a couple more. But I have to say, since Jesse's not on here, no one says this to Jesse, but Mark Cantu is an awesome director. I'm a fan of yours, Mark. And if you don't have me in all your movies, you know what? I'm coming over there and kicking your ass, and I'm bringing Brian.
I'm sure you will. Yeah, exactly. But this is why I'm going to retire from making movies after this. I'm done. I'm not doing anything anymore, guys.
The actors are so fun to work with, and they know their lines, they know their stuff, and when you with a group of people having fun what they do, then the end result's going to show that. And as great as I think that first Fast Furious movie was, I would do Grind any day of the week. Paycheck's not as much, but I would still do.
We're working on it.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, because it's one of those things where I'm sure it's hectic on any film set, but I'm sure it's a different hectic. Like with the big films where there's like 5,000 people on set going 15 different directions, I'm sure it goes crazy. But then with like independent film where the time limit is that much shorter, the budget is that much smaller, that it's minute not mess ups, but anything could happen. How many times have we heard about weather changing things, or just things you didn't expect changes it enough. So, but I guess
and when Kenny wasn't needed in front of camera, I like going to set every day, watching the other actors work, because I learn from other actors. I always have. I always go to set, even if it's not my call day. And I got to move equipment around and do different little strobe lights and stuff, and do producer stuff, and just hang out with, Mark's serious, so I didn't talk to him that much because I didn't want to get in his face. But everybody was so fun on that crew,
We all had so much fun. Everyone here can, testify to that. That was one constant every day. Mark might have been stressed a few times because he's the glue holding it together.
Yeah.
But even when that's the case, we're all
A
having
few,
so much fun.
a few.
Yes, Mark.
You know, was it filmed in Pennsylvania? Like you said that you're doing the screening and stuff. Was it all filmed there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got really lucky, like I said. So I the premiere for Master Academy we had at the Lamp Theater. So when I was writing it, I had one of two theaters in mind, and so I reached out to the Lamp Theater and I was like, hey, here's a crazy idea. We want to take over your theater for 2 weeks. Will you let us do that? And they were so gracious about it. Like I said, they were like, whatever you need, scout the location, you have the run of the place. So I think we wound up shooting like 3 or 4 days each week that we were there. So like I said, so we were there a good chunk of our filming. But yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. So
That's cool. That's really neat. I'm excited to see it.
You know, when hearing Stanton talk and stuff, you know what I realize? I don't know if it is for like for bigger budget films, but it seems like, especially how many times we had people on where, you know, everybody takes on multiple hats for independent films, whether it's directing or behind the scenes or special effects or whatever. It seems like with independent film, that's where the love of movies grow, where it's like, okay, I was an actor in this one, but now I want to produce because I learned different things on it, or I want to direct now because I helped out with this. So it seems like with independent film, like I said, I don't know with big films, but it seems like people want to branch out and do more. I mean, look at Daniel going from producing to in front of the camera. Soon as he's going to direct and become a Grammy Award winner.
Oh,
You're not singing. You're not singing. I once I said it, but award winner soon. But you know, doing it, you know, step by step. So it seems like independent film is the glue that brings that together.
well, it's funny, like I said, and I'll kind of direct this over to Belle as well. Is Belle's a perfect example of like not just only did we have like a great friendship that kind of evolves over the years, but you've got other people, like you said, that you surround yourself with that have a genuine love of movies and you're around them constantly. So you've got that maneuverability in independent film where you can kind of just talk to each other directly. You don't have to go through people's press agents or any other crap like that. And you can just sit there and go, hey, what do we want to do on this next thing? What do we want to talk about? What's the thing that we want to get at? And then we can kind of riff off of each other. And because you have that freedom, because you have that flow between each other, it makes it even easier once you get on set. Because again, like I said, Belle was with me like pretty much every day for like 10 days straight. And just having him there and just kind of bouncing ideas off. And if something needed to be moved, he was there. If something needed to be like reworked or maybe something wasn't working quite right, he was there. So it's having that freedom to just kind of, you're not just riffing in the beginning stages, you're riffing all the way through, and there's a continuity through the entire thing that kind of keeps it alive, keeps it fresh, keeps ideas moving constantly. So, and then again, like you're saying, you've got the freedom to move into whatever you want to do. Belle is directing one of my absolute favorite sections. There's a grindhouse movie in here. I'm not spoiling anything, but there's a grindhouse movie within the movie called Subway Samurai, and Brian's the one that wound up directing it, and it's so damn good. Like it's one of my favorite little sections that we did.
Damn good.
And you know,
Bill.
and one thing just to piggyback off that, you know, when the very first conversation all those years ago that Mark and I had, we were, you know, the call was to like, you know, talk business stuff. And all we did was for like half an hour, we just started, I don't even know how it happened. We were just talking movies and quoting movies and like we just, everything, it was just like we knew right then in that
Oh
conversation,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, this is my guy. Like this is my people right here. Just like you said before, it was like, but it was literally from our first conversation, we just knew it. Now, all these years later, and like Mark was just saying, it's like the trust has been there, but I'm saying like the trust is there, which then, you know, on set just translates into other things, you know, and it's just, but it's always there.
I think our first conversation, no bullshit, I think our first conversation was a 45-minute conversation on how Steven Seagal runs. And like
which
that's the
there's
crazy
something.
thing we were dealing with. That's the level of like, and then he like flails his arm, and then like it was just, and we could not stop laughing. So that's the friendship that you're starting with, and going, hey, you want to make a movie together, and then everything just kind of evolves from that. So yeah, so that's what you want to be surrounded by constantly.
And
Absolutely.
we've said it many a times. That'll show on the camera because it's like
Oh yeah,
when you work with people you enjoy, it just show. Like there's been movies where it's just like, oh, how long have you known each other? Oh, a month. But it just you're
right.
connected and it shows. And then you get other ones where it's like you didn't really blend together on the camera, and it's just like okay. But other ones, it's just like. Yeah, we had it where it's like, oh yeah, we met for that week, but we all connected, and it just shows. It seems like you've known each other for your entire life.
Everybody connected.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
had a great time. It was truly exceptional, and for me to just to get to know everybody and new people on set, it meant the world to me. And again, just like you said, I was there for only 5 days, but I felt like I had known everybody for quite a long time, and I think it's definitely going to show up on camera. It's definitely everybody just really really clicked. I had a fun time.
Nice. Well, it's just about that time. Speaking of times, that we wrap things up. It's already been an hour, so
Probably 7 o'clock.
Just because I know Kelly's had some issues with audio and stuff like that, while we have her here, and while the audio is not clippy, do you want to give your? Oh no,
there
I
she
spoke
goes.
too soon. Kelly, can you hear me?
Jinx it.
Oh man! All right.
That's why Kevin's the worst.
Yeah, see, it says I'm the worst. It says it right there. I actually have pins that say the worst on them. So let's start with the newbie, Brian. Where can people go to follow you to find out what's going on?
I'm on Instagram, Jedi Master with an A, Jedi Master. That's the best place to
Master.
follow me. And
What's a
Tony, I
master?
got to tell you, I like what I see behind you. I like the collection. I have
Yeah,
a massive physical media collection as well. So big
yeah,
respect to you there.
yeah. This is part of it. I got it all around the
Yep.
room. I do part of the TikTok community and Instagram community, so it's fun. I don't shut up about it, so
Yeah.
Kevin knows.
Never do.
Well,
Physical media forever.
100%.
That's how we met Tony. Really? Yeah.
Well, I followed you guys because it
Yeah,
was
but,
one of
but
those.
we were collectors too. So like, that's how we. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. And man, Kelly's having a hard time.
She's trying to.
Yeah, Kelsey, what about yourself? Where can people go to follow you to find out what's going on with you and maybe some other projects or anything else you got going on?
Sure. I'm also on Instagram, and it's my name, Kelley Rhea 07. And I also have a website. It's kelleyray.com.
Nice. And do you have anything coming out like that, or anything anywhere that you want people to go see, like that they could possibly see now that's out there?
I have a lot of stuff that's coming out.
Okay.
So definitely, stay
So
in
go
touch.
follow her socials, and then you can see when things are coming out, and then you can go do that.
So actually, before we finish, or I forget, should I say? But you said there's a few shorts in the movie. Did you think about making like a VHS style where you take the shorts and make them their own, focal point as opposed to, just part of a movie?
That is what we're talking about doing for the DVD release. Like I said, just having some special features, because we actually, when we shot we shot that, we had to shoot the trailers. Obviously, we've cut the trailers into the movie, but we've got enough content for each one of those to be like its own quick, like 2 to 3 minute hit of a movie. And like I said, to give you a bit more of a taste of each one of those little adventures. So those are definitely things that we're kind of percolating on right now with the DVD. So yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool. Kelly, well, we got you. We don't want to lose you again.
I'm sorry. My phone is possessed.
That's okay. It's well, with baby heads on your wall, I understand.
I realize. Welcome to my
the,
weird apartment in Brooklyn.
But do you have any social media where people can go follow like what you're up to, and like if you have art and stuff that you promote or any other projects?
I'm on Instagram, Kelly Mark's Final Girl, or I'm trying to be better about Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Kelly Marks as well. I've got some other projects coming up. I have something with Dan next month. Is that next month, Dan?
Yeah, June. Yep, June. Yeah.
Our fun werewolf movie.
Ooh.
And I'm in a movie the end of this month called The Last Sleepover. So that should be fun. Yeah. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to the adventures.
Nice. Yeah. Daniel, what about yourself?
For me, I'm really, really excited about 2025. You could reach me at Instagram's the best place, Daniel John Kearney, and my handle's DJK Horror Historian. But we have, we have 16 features coming out this year, so it's very, 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 very exciting. So I can't wait for those to come out. We have Bunker Heights coming out, Peeping Tom coming out, Watchdog, and so many different things we've been talking about over the years. So really excited about that. And Deadly Endings as well. And a lot of things that I've written over the past couple years too, I'm finally delving into that. So hopefully news on all that stuff soon. And so some exciting announcements there. Thank you.
Nice. Stanton, what about yourself?
Well, if anyone wants to follow me, they can just park out at our carport outside, and when I leave, follow me. No, I do a little. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I don't really do a lot of that social media, but I like to follow people.
Nice.
Not that I'm a weird guy. I just like to stalk people.
See what people are up to.
This past year was really fun. I did a bunch of films. Grind was definitely on the top of the list, and a couple of the other ones I did in LA are coming out this year on Netflix or Amazon. And I'm doing a slasher movie, so that I'll be doing another movie following Grind. So a slasher movie this year. I play a detective. I guess I was typecast. The director was a fan of Fast and Furious, so he calls me up and says he wants me to play detective. And just having a good old time, and have a granddaughter, and I just enjoying life. And I look forward to working again with Kelsey and Brian and Dale, Kelly, Mark, and the guys at Red Slate. So I'm going to be making a few trips to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this year. I know that. So
nice, cool. Mark, what about yourself?
So I've got my personal account, which is under Mark Cantu 98 on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook under Mark Cantu as well. But then the movie page for Grind is actually under Grind Official Movie on Instagram. I believe it's the same on Facebook as well. So
nice. Tony?
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related you'll find there. Even though I haven't done anything in a while, there's still a whole backlog. Tony Has Nine Fingers on X, which I don't use, but it's part of my shtick. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, which is my fastest growing social media I use. I show off the collection. I talk movies and stuff like that. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And, of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesdays, whether we have awesome guests or it's just horror movie talk, you can find us here. Kevin?
Yes, just A Knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing this show, I'm also part of That Strange Show. And coming up in the next couple months, I'm going to be at Sci-Fi Horror Fest up in Verona, New York, moderating the panels at that convention. So keep your eyes open there. They keep adding guests, so a lot of really cool guests this year, and I'll have my work cut out for me. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and thank you for watching, and thank you to the people that are listening. And have
Thank
a
you guys
great.
for having us.
Yeah. And
Thanks for
be on the
having us.
lookout for I almost said The Grind, but that was the show with Eric Nies from MTV. I keep thinking The Grind.
Yeah, different show, different vibe.
Totally different,
Yeah.
totally different. But keep your eye out for a Grind, and definitely support your local independent horror weirdos out there, because they're making all the cool stuff, right?
That's right.
Right.
Am I right?
Exactly.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks for
Good
having
night.
me.
Bye, guys.